All right, so I've gotten requests to discuss the Law and Order bit, and Caitlin Clark mentioned on Law and Order. In case you didn't know, in this case, I wouldn't say it's in a flattering context per se, but not in a surprising one. The same sort of discourse that you might have seen across your timeline during the 2024 WNBA season, which goes to show you how far that went, right? Like I've made the point so many different times that Clark's popularity and the reality of the fans that are celebrating her is so different than what you see on social media. Not to say that some of that doesn't actually exist, but you never hear that in the stands. You never hear, go white girl in the stands. People aren't spending 3 hours of their time to watch, 10 million difference one year to the next to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball because, they're racially motivated by it. Is there an inherent underlying, perhaps, relatability? Again, I don't know how to measure that. I'm so sick of discussing it. So often I just scroll past this stuff and I don't really get angry or worked up about it. I mean, when you're Law and Order, you've probably seen it on CNN. The writers have. Well, maybe one of them's a WNBA fan, but otherwise, maybe they've seen it on CNN or they've seen it, on Outkick or ESPN or, Talking Heads, whatever the case may be. We can't pretend it wasn't off discussed. In fact, it's still discussed. People wrote articles about the one bit she said to David Letterman again, because it's nicely, easily in engagement bait, right? Like it's right there on the plate. But as far as you know, this specific scene, here's what it looked like on Law and Order, right here.
Wasn't that big a deal.
No? You've been talking trash about her for a while, right? Saying that she was a joke, that you were going to kick her ass.
Come on, man. It was just talk.
Look, I get it. I mean, the league was built on the backs of talented black women like yourself. I mean, these white girls come along, right? Karen Adler, Caitlin Clark, and they're instant superstars. Everybody's saying they put the league on the map.
And they're getting all the endorsements and sponsorships. Yeah, it's messed up.
You got to admit there's something special about her game, though, right?
Yeah, she's white. But I hear you. Cam could play. I had a lot of respect for her.
Really? Just didn't look that way.
Come on. It was a big game. We're both really competitive, and we got into it. But that was it. We even talked after the game for a bit, cleared the air.
Yeah, so she was good with that elbow you threw at her face?
Wouldn't say she was good with it, but she joked that it was good for the game, that it would get us lots of media coverage.
Well, all the same, where were you last night at 11:45?
So I don't know who she's supposed to be. I don't know what that's supposed to represent. If it's a combination of, Asia Wilson's shoe deal and Kennedy Carter hip checking Caitlin Clark and the rivalry with Angel Reese, I got no idea. But those are the tropes that came up. And I had somebody say online that Caitlin should sue them. I mean, defamation and all that. First of all, the standard in which to bring it is so hard to actually win. And then secondly, she would look ridiculous if doing so. If anything, this speaks to her impact, right? It speaks to her impact. And the dialogue, I mean, it was written like it was, random X users or one of these posts that goes viral and everybody debates on a given day, which I think, again, is a misrepresentation of the general public discourse. Or when you go around Caitlin Clark and you're talking about her in real life, or you're talking about her fans of all sorts of races, of all sorts of ages, all across the world. But, the one bit where all these white girls come along and they're instant superstars, again, it's only Caitlin Clark that was the instant superstar. That Law and Order scene cannot be written without Caitlin Clark. That mention cannot happen without Caitlin Clark, because you couldn't say it for Elena Delle Donne or Brianna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu or Sue Bird or Paige Beckers. Quite frankly, I mean, there's a certain degree of that. The aspect of it that I think has some truth to it as far as the players and their reaction was that Caitlin Clark came around and she was the only thing that people talked about. And others said like the rest of the league was trash. which was never cool. And, if you are somebody like Cheryl Swoops back in the day, who was a great player, and you didn't have that, or you're somebody currently and you don't have that, I can see where it could possibly rub you the wrong way. I mean, we see the bitter NBA heads of today hating on the current generation. Some of that is about money and the amount of endorsements that they're able to make and the contracts that they get now relative to their day and the stage that they get. And of course, social media has really changed the entire game. It's changed the way we consume information. It's changed who can have an opinion. It's changed how fast a narrative can be shaped. And I think with this Law and Order episode, what it just goes to show you is that narrative has been shaped. There's no way around that. I mean, Caitlin Clark has been asked to address her fans. Caitlin Clark made the comments to Time Magazine. Monica McNutt recently said on BBC, what she thinks perhaps a big reason for Caitlin Clark's popularity is she's white and from the Midwest. The Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark racial dynamics were something that were brought. I mean, on and on and on. I could cite so many examples. But really all this means is that Caitlin Clark has crossed over the cultural consciousness, right? Law and Order. When's the last time you heard about Law and Order? I mean, I know it's a popular show and people watch it, don't get me wrong. But it hadn't been on my mind or my timeline. And then I see this bit and I could hear the little theme music that they got, or however it goes, right? And, that's, I don't think it's that deep. It's a fictional story that they're trying to base on the realities of what happened in the league last year, or at least the way it was spun as to what happened in the league last year. But I always, and this is tying back, and I guess I'll tie in a bow this way. It all comes back to Caitlin Clark's popularity. People can try to explain her popularity, and I believe it is based on basketball more than anything else. Look at what went viral from the Letterman clip, the Iowa scrimmage. That's what went viral, her playing basketball. What did I get drawn to? Her playing basketball. But it's the explanations for her popularity that lead to the race component. Well, it has to be because she's white, or this is a big reason why, because she's white. And again, I don't know how much that factors in, but that's to try to explain the popularity. Because really, the appeal in the popularity is what led to the backlash. Because there had never been anything like it before or even close. And this is further proof of that. Because it wouldn't have made its way onto the show if she didn't play in the WNBA last season. That's, the real verdict there.